What's going on, New York Giants fans? Welcome back to another video. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification button so you get notified when the live stream pops video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back to another video. Today, we're going to look at the unofficial depth chart, the first unofficial depth chart of training camp. Obviously, this has grounds to change until Saturday, the Jets game. And at the end, I'm going to remark on two different signings. And also make some comments about FanFest because I was there, and I do have some good comments to make about it, and, it was a really fun time. So, let's dive down into this. Obviously, you got the quarterbacks, and I'll go position by position. You got the quarterbacks, Jones, Glennon, and Torson. No surprise there. You got the running backs, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Booker, Corey Clement, Morris, Brightwell, Plutzcummer. Now, what I will say about this, and there's not too much to take away. Obviously, Barkley has been in and out, coming back from that torn ACL injury, so you can't take much to that as him being the first running back. I don't think he'll play in the preseason. Neither do I think will be a good idea for him to play in the preseason. But also, Alfred Morris has been getting a little bit of reps with the ones, so that's why you have to take this depth chart with a grain of salt for any position. We'll obviously get to the wide receivers because that is a big one. In terms of, who's been practicing with the ones and all this stuff. And obviously, we got to see it live yesterday. So, that is for the running backs. As for the fullbacks, Penny and Gillespie, Penny's been getting with the 1 and the 2 squad. Gillespie has just been doing individual drills, and he's also been, working with the 3 squad. Don't know much about that, but we'll find out, obviously, on Saturday. Now, with the wide receiver position. You got Galladay and Sterling Shepard as the first 2 wide receivers. They don't list 3. They list only 2 on the depth chart as, positions. It's not 3 wide receivers. It's only 2. So you got Shepard and Galladay being injured, but he's probably going to have the upper hand coming into the season. Then you have Darius Slayton, John Ross, who's impressed during camp. I think he's injured right now, so he hasn't really been practicing, but he's done well during camp, not just on the special teams aspect, but in terms of receiving and in different drills and stuff like that, which is very good to see. Maybe he could, be the diamond in the rough for the New York Giants as a depth piece at wide receiver. So you go into more of the third string guys, David Sills. He's been taking reps with the first team, so once again, take that with a grain of salt. Same thing with Kadarius Toney. And then you go into the back end of the receivers, C.J. Board, Austin Mack, and Damian Willis. The only one you'll have to take a grain of salt with is C.J. Board. He's been taking minimal reps with the first team on occasion. Same thing with Dante Pettis and Alex Bachman. Both those guys have taken reps with the first team more. Alex Bachman. Pettis has been on the kick return end for special teams, and Matt Cole just came in, signed from the Jets. Damian Willis, if any of you guys don't know, signed from the Bengals, I think. He was one of their preseason stars a couple of years ago. With that being said, let's move to the tight end spot. The 2 starting tight ends, Evan Ingram and Caden Smith, no surprise there. Kyle Rudolph is at the back end of the depth chart because he is injured. He's on the PUP list, hasn't really gotten back yet. Then you look at the 2 tight ends, Cole Hikatini and Nakia Griffin-Stewart. I thought the backup tight ends, in my opinion, did personally well yesterday in terms of receiving. It wasn't all their fault, in my opinion, because I thought Glennon overthrew him sometimes. It was him or Torson that were, not making really good passes to the backup tight ends. But Hausman, I think, caught a touchdown. Griffin-Stewart caught a touchdown. And Hikatini caught a touchdown. So I think if there's a chance that the Giants keep 4 tight ends, I think maybe Hikatini could be that guy. They were looking for Toy Lolo, I think he tore his Achilles, and that was the end of that story. Then you look at the 3 tight ends. Rice and John did practice yesterday. I'm pretty sure he caught a touchdown. If he didn't, he caught at least 1 pass. Then Jake Hausman, as I mentioned, the undrafted guy out of Ohio State. Kyle Rudolph, and then you got nobody else for the tight end position. Now we break into the offensive line, which, once again, you'll have to take a grain of salt with some of these. At left tackle, you got Thomas, Solder, and Barton. Barton has been mixing in with the 2s and 3s. Same with Solder. He's been mixing in with the 1s and the 2s on the right side. There are times also as well that Chad Slade will actually mix in at the left tackle position for the ones. We saw that yesterday. In terms of left guard, Shane Lemieux has been on and off. He's been doing individual drills, really hasn't been at left guard in the 11-on-11s. We didn't see that yesterday. Kenny Wiggins and Kyle Murphy were the ones rotating in at left guard for the New York Giants in the one spot, which honestly is concerning because the guard depth with Looney and Fulton retiring. You look at the center position, not much to take away, not much, saying, oh, it's a grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt. Not much to take grain of salt with. This is pretty straightforward. Nick Gates, the first-team center, Jonathan Harrison, I don't know if he's practicing yet, so you'll keep that in mind. And then you got Brett Hedgie, the undrafted free agent from Florida at center, on the third team, mixing in with the second team. He's also playing guard on the second team as well, when the guys at left guard like Wiggins and Murphy move up to the first team. You take a look at right guard, Will Hernandez, pretty straightforward there. Chad Slade, you take a look at him, he's been playing right guard and tackle on occasion, so he provides a source of depth there for the New York Giants. Has been playing left tackle a little bit, as I said. He took over for Andrew Thomas yesterday in a portion of practice. He wasn't injured or anything, was just doing first-team reps. Jake Burton, he's been taking reps at right tackle and at right guard for the third team, so that obviously shows up there. Then Matt Parrott and Nate Solder. Those guys have been at right tackle, so there's a little bit of missing depth, missing pieces there to fully complete a second and third team. Obviously, the offensive line is a position of question coming into the season. So that pretty much does it for the offensive side of the ball. Now let's move to the defensive side of the ball, which honestly surprises me in some set of standards. I think I got to scroll up just a little bit before we go to special teams. Just a little bit. Okay, this should be dandy. Okay, so you take a look at the defense now. You take a look at the defensive line first. You got Dexter Lawrence, Austin Johnson, and Leonard Williams. Williams actually took some reps with the second team yesterday. I think Joe Judge wants versatility in terms of who's playing on what team. That's very good. Obviously, bolsters the second team defensive line. In terms of nose tackle, Austin Johnson is a better run stuffer than Danny Shelton. Shelton, he's a good player. He's a decent player that the Giants picked up this offseason, but he's getting reps more with the second team than the first team. And then you look at defensive end, B.J. Hill, he's been rotating with the first, second, and third teams. David Moa, I don't know much about him, but I've seen him in camp. You always see him, number 96 with the long hair. Then the New York Giants picked up Elijah Qualls yesterday. Spent some time, I believe, with the Eagles going back a couple of years. Won a Super Bowl with them. Really hasn't played much in his career, but they signed him and released R.J. McIntosh before practice yesterday. And me, Kush, and the Entertainer were sitting together, and we're like, hold on, number 90 is supposed to be what's-his-face, R.J. McIntosh, but he just got cut. So maybe it was Qualls, maybe it was William Henry, I think the guy's name is. We'll get to him. If he's not on the depth chart already, he should be. But that's pretty much covering the defensive line. William Henry we also signed. I think he's also a defensive tackle from the Ravens a couple of years ago. Was like a fourth-round pick, third-round pick out of Michigan. Then you take a look at the linebackers inside and outside. Lorenzo Carter heads up one of the outside positions, the other outside position being O'Shane Ximenez. You look at the second team, Trent Harris and Azeez Ojulari. Ojulari's been rotating in and out with the first and second teams. Trent Harris, not really. He's been the back-end linebacker. Then you look at the third-string guys, Nico Lalos and Ifedi Odenigbo. I'm surprised Odenigbo is actually that low on the depth chart, being, he was a presence for the Vikings last year, but I guess they didn't see enough from him to get him over Trent Harris. Then you look at the fourth team. Ellerson Smith is a rookie. I think they did activate him off the PUP list, but they're ramping things up with him, as Joe Judge likes to say. And then Cam Brown is there as well, this former sixth-round pick out of Penn State. You take a look at the inside linebacker position, both of them, Blake Martinez and Tay Crowder. Reggie Ragland trying to work into things because of him coming off of the non-football injury list. We saw Tay Crowder cover Evan Ingram partially yesterday. With him on that team is Devontae Downs. Take a look at the third stringers, TJ Brunson and Carter Coughlin. That's fully understandable. They cut Cale Garrett, so I guess that's why William Henry is not on the depth chart. Cale Garrett was released. And then Ryan Anderson. I'm actually surprised at this. Now, either my sheer stupidity or they just translated him to the inside linebacker position for more depth and versatility reasons. I thought Anderson was playing the outside position. Now with him being with Brunson, Downs, and Crowder, I guess he's playing inside. So maybe that's a point of versatility. Maybe he adjusts and makes the roster. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, they do have 7 inside linebackers with Cale Garrett being released yesterday. So now you take a look at the cornerback spot. And some of this kind of surprises me a little bit, whatever. So you take a look at the cornerback spots. They only have 2. Obviously, there's 3 including the slot. James Bradbury and Adoree Jackson. Darnay Holmes obviously taking reps with the ones because he is the slot cornerback. Isaac Yiadom took reps with the ones yesterday, as did Vidarius Williams. Vidarius Williams, I think he played well as well. And Isaac Yiadom, I think he broke up a pass actually, or made some sort of play along the sideline, so shout-outs to him. Then you look at the other guys, as I mentioned, Vidarius Williams and Madre Harper. He took reps mostly with the second team, third team. Then Jaron Williams, Sam Beal, and Aaron Robinson. Jaron Williams, I don't have much to say on him. Played a couple of special teams reps last year. Sam Beal, obviously, we know the story with him. Then Aaron Robinson, I think he's still on the POP list, so he really hasn't gotten much action. Then you look at the safety spots, Jabril Peppers and Logan Ryan. So far, once again, take this with a grain of salt, the starting safeties. Then the backups, the ones rotating with the one squad, Julian Love and Xavier McKinney. Then it's surprising to me, they list Quincy Wilson as more of a safety than a cornerback on the depth chart. Josh Callow with him at the free safety spot. Then you look at the backups, Chris Milton and Jordan Peters. Chris Milton, they signed from the Titans, Montre Hartage, and Chris Johnson at the strong safety spot. So that pretty much covers the defense. And let's take a look at special teams real quick. Not much, too much to take away, I should say. And then for the abbreviations, or at least the stars, the asterisks, rookie, physically unable to perform. I think that was for Aaron Robinson. If you guys are seeing this, yeah. I could actually leave it on this page. Then you got 2 stars, physically unable to perform list, and then 1 is rookie. Long snapper Casey Kreider over Carson Tinker. I guess that's no surprise. Holder, Dixon, and Santoso. Santoso actually did pretty good yesterday. He tried attempting one from 60, but it was a little bit to the left. But that is something exciting. And I think his eligibility ran out for the practice squad. But this is a guy they should keep an eye on. And I'm not saying, Graham Gano's a horrible kicker. Gano is more for accuracy. The deep guy is Ryan Santoso. So, once again, that is a possible gold in the rough for the New York Giants in terms of kicking. So, Riley Dixon, obviously the punter. I'm pretty sure they had a punter behind him. If they don't, oh well, Dixon gets no competition. In terms of punt returning, Jabril Peppers, Adoree Jackson, Kadarius Toney, and Dante Pettis. In terms of kick returning, John Ross, Jabril Peppers, Kadarius Toney, and Dante Pettis, and then the kickers, Gano and Santoso. Ross obviously standing out as a kick returner. I thought the returns were pretty nice yesterday. Obviously, there was no live contact. It was just blocking and running. But I thought Adoree Jackson, Ross, actually Ross wasn't out there yesterday, Jackson and Dante Pettis, I thought they had some good kick returning reps yesterday. They also had Matt Cole as one of the returners as well. So maybe he substitutes for Ross. Hopefully Ross is good to go for Saturday. But, we'll see about that. In terms of Jabril Peppers, I know there's a lot of people probably asking. Apparently Joe Judge said he was fine. We saw him, cheering up the fans yesterday as he was going into the locker room. So it looked like he was in good spirits. But Joe Judge said he is fine and nothing much to take away from that. Hopefully he is ready for Saturday's game. And if he's not, obviously you have Julian Love behind him at the strong safety position, and you let the other guys fill in. So, about FanFest. I might explain this more on the Boys in the Big Apple podcast because it will be definitely a factor of Jets training camp and Giants FanFest, because both of those events were at MetLife Stadium, Jets camp, Jets scrimmage, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I had a huge blast. I had a huge blast at FanFest. I'll tell you, just like in the slim of things, how things went. We got there around 2:30, 2:40-ish. The tent was already up. The Talking Giants guys were already there. Bobby is fucking huge. He's like 6'6". He's a unit, as my brother called him. Justin that was there. They did a live show there with license plate guy, who's also a nice guy. And then the entertainer was there. He showed up a little late, but, still fun meeting him. We definitely talked about the Giants. One of my favorite parts of being there, one of the funniest guys, was Pest Snacks from Bleeding Blue. He's a whole ball buster, but he was fun to talk with, especially about the Giants and other stuff like that. And the fact that I brought a Jets fan with me. The lap was fun, running around Lot G. That was so much fun. But we did it for Joe Judge because we support Joe Judge. The Hub was there. That's who I hung out with most of the time, and his friends. Also to note, Authentic, he showed up from DC, and his friend, they were funny. They were cool as well. If I'm missing anybody, Mage was there. He did say hello to me. Shoutouts to also Nick the Wick. He did show up and say hello to me. Also, I think Matt Riley was there. I know him and my brother were having some big conversations about, I think it was football, baseball, basketball, whatever it may be. But really fun time. Really fun time interacting with people. That has to happen again, though, sometimes some of those best times are in the past and you can't get, it's kind of like a friends thing. You have like a gathering where all your friends are there, and then the next time you want to have that same gathering, not all the people can come. I know Diggy couldn't come. I know Kid Blue couldn't come. I know Pizzle couldn't come. I know a couple other people that couldn't come. But it's unfortunate. But once again, they'll probably be back up for games or seeing games and stuff like that. But if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification button so you get notified when live stream pops video drops. Appreciate y'all. Peace out and stay cool. Go Giants on Saturday.